This is the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Kick back and hang with your hosts, Kayode, Luis, and Joel. Let's mark out.
Yes, y'all. Welcome to episode 95 of On the it was 95, bro.
95
of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. First off, give it up for us. 95 episodes so far. Doing our thing on this podcast game, gaining some followers, people watching and engaging. Welcome to episode 95. I'm your boy Kayode, joined by the administrator, none other than Luis. But our boy Joel is not here, as you can see. He is on sabbatical. He'll be back soon. He'll be back. But we're holding it down on this episode. And listen, I got to give it up to y'all. The marks were out, and the Stephanie Vaquer blew up. My thoughts on Stephanie blew up.
Yes,
I still stand by them though. So I still stand. I'm standing firm on my thoughts of Stephanie. Much love to Steph, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it pans out. But today's show, we got something for you, man. A lot of stuff has happened in the wrestling world. Luis, first off, how you doing, brother? What's going on with you, man?
Everything is Gucci. It's chilling. It's chillaxing. Whatever outdated terms I can use in this instance. Get ready to wrap up work and go on a 4-week-long vacation. So I'm pretty stoked about that. But shout out to all the supporters on the podcast on both TikTok, Instagram, and even YouTube. But that was our Stephanie Vaquer clip was by far our most viral clip to date.
Yeah.
It elicited a strong reaction from quite a few of our followers and even just people that don't follow us and ended up hitting like and whatnot. But we appreciate all the engagement. Every now and then we'll have some hot takes, but that's okay. Kayode's entitled to his opinion. I'm entitled to mine. Joel is entitled to his. So we just move forward. And Stephanie, just know that we love you. We love you here on the Mark Podcast.
We do love you, Stephanie. And just to give you an idea of how much we love you, I took a lot of verbal abuse when one follower of the platform told me to get medically tested. Get drug tested immediately.
Get drug tested, get a mental evaluation, get your head checked, Kayode.
Get the head checked, everything. I was getting lots of love from the marks on the platforms. But thank y'all very much. But this week, well, we got something crazy. Lots of stuff happened. Luis, do you have an administrator's report?
Yes, once again, it is time for the administrator's report. This admin report is going to be pretty brief, but I think it's noteworthy. So the WrestleTix X account, on a side note, X is the official name, right? I don't think people have to.
It is X.
I don't think people have to really say X/Twitter or X formerly known as Twitter. Or is that Twitter association still there with the name?
Now, I only hear people call it X.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just for future reference, I'm just going to stop calling it X, formerly known as Twitter, or X/Twitter. It's just X.
The symbol.
Yeah. X marks the spot. But in any case, WrestleTix had posted something interesting on their X account today where AEW has sold an additional 1,400 something tickets ever since the announcement of Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada at All In.
Nice.
And I found that
Give it up, AEW. That's a big win.
Yeah, that's a win. They're not going to fill Globe Life Field in Arlington to full capacity. We know that. I think they are only aiming for 20-something, 30-something thousand seats, which is fine. Whatever.
No,
it's something like that. It's not, the stadium is not going to be full capacity. But in any case, that just goes to show you how much of a draw the rivalry between Okada and Omega is. We witnessed some of the greatest pro wrestling matches of all time back in 2017 and 2018. Dare I say, probably the greatest rivalry of the past 10 years. Just because of the masterpieces, the full on masterpieces that they had. Those series of matches were just terrific. And we hadn't seen those two men go one on one since their last encounter in 2018, which went like 65, 70 minutes. There's some crazy shit. Like there was a
Crazy, yeah.
2 out of 3 falls match. That was the culminating bout, if you will. So when they officially announced it, I raised my eyebrows because I didn't think that Tony Khan would really pull the trigger, but it makes sense to do it at your biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
The biggest show of the summer other than WWE SummerSlam. I think that's awesome. The fact that those two, just based off of the match announcement, were able to push in a little more tickets. Now, again, is it going to be a complete sellout of Globe Life Field? Only time will tell from now until July 12th. You know, we still have a whole month, literally 4 weeks.
Exactly.
But yeah, what do you make of that, Kayode? The fact that a match announcement can drive tickets that quickly in the span of less than a week.
Well, let me tell you something right now, Lewis. You always told me since we started this show years ago, just two of us. You're like, yo, you got to check out Okada and Omega. You got to check out Okada and Omega. You got to. So tonight, when AEW did a hell of a job with that package they did of the history of Okada and Omega, I had no idea the level of like iconic matches this was. Had no idea. Right. They had four matches. Two to Omega, one was a draw, and one to Okada. This is the fifth one. And Lewis, you're going to be in attendance for that, which is nuts. I'm jealous. I'm very jealous.
Very hype.
But I figured the marks out there, the people out there who know the history, the people who follow these matches. I think that moved the needle big time. This is a mega match in pro wrestling, period. And these guys are still at the capacity to be able to go. Mm-hmm. This is definitely probably the last time. If not the last time, like this is like coming. This has to be the last time. This is number 5. I don't know how much more you could do after this.
Yeah.
This is possibly the last time. It's been a long time. Right? And these guys are I don't want to say twilight of their career, but they're on the ladder of it. And I think this is going to be dope. I think they're going to kill it. I think AEW and the American audiences are going to be given something special in wrestling. And this is the match that will sell more tickets like it did in your administrator's report, and probably will keep selling maybe a few hundred more. Who knows? As the build happened. The build tonight on AEW was solid. Kenny was on the stretcher, blood splurting out of his mouth like it was alien, like it was crazy. It was nuts. It was nuts. Yeah. But these guys, man, they're gonna bring it, and I think because of the caliber of matches they did in Japan is what moved that needle, and rightfully so. The matches they're solid. You can't say anything else other than that with Omega and Okada, bro. So
yeah, it's amazing how transcendent that rivalry was back then, because everyone, wrestling fans, that is, North American wrestling fans, have kept on clamoring for Okada to sign with AEW, primarily because they wanted to see him go at it again with Kenny Omega. That Kenny Omega and Okada match, the first one, that was the first ever match to get a 6-star rating from Dave Meltzer. And I know, right? And I know Dave Meltzer is not the be all end all, but you know he's got a lot of clout in the wrestling community, for better or for worse. But yeah, he gave that match 6 stars. Like, because usually it's 5-star, but it's unanimous across the board that those two have put on some of the greatest wrestling matches ever.
Now,
And the
Lewis, let
fact
me
that
ask you.
people are still referencing those matches and people are still referencing that rivalry is amazing.
Now, you've seen every match.
Yes.
What was the best one? The best one that you've seen out of the four?
It's going to be either the first one or the fourth one.
Okay.
The first one probably I would place at number one just because it was the first time I had ever seen a match that was truly that special, and I wasn't expecting it to be anywhere near that.
Right.
Like, I was expecting a good match, but that's the match that really solidified Kenny Omega as like, okay, this guy's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And Okada was already there, but he just further solidified his spot.
Right.
And that match was just a masterpiece. I very rarely call matches masterpieces. For that term, for that adjective or noun, whatever, for that to come out of my mouth when I'm describing a match, that means it's special. So that first one is always going to hold a special place in my heart. But that fourth one was the perfect cherry on top for all of the matches, because the second one ended in a 60-minute draw. Then the third one, Kenny Omega took that match,
Right.
and at that point, it was like the weakest of the trilogy, but it was still a great match. But that fourth one, I think what makes that fourth one special, besides it going a whole hour, was the fact that it took place a year and a half after number one. It took place in June of 2018 because the first one was January 2017. So they were still able to really pick up where they left off, and it was just magic. Those two, they just create magic. Think of Rock and Austin, the Japan version, or Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair, the Japan version. It's like that, like Brett and Shawn. That's what they created during that time.
Man, damn. Now, what do you think we should expect come All In with the fifth match? And they're unifying the belts, the new belt. They show the new belt tonight, which I love. I actually, AEW makes solid belts. I don't care about it, but like, they make some solid belts.
That's why they're $800.
Exactly. And I'm glad they're unifying the titles. There's too many titles in AEW. I just don't. I don't even know what is the name of this anyway. The unified something, like what
I don't know, man.
What's the name of the title?
The undisputed continental international who knows, man?
Missed it completely. But the title looks good. But Lewis, what should we expect? What do you think we're going to get at All In between these two guys?
I think you're going to get a great match. Now, we have to lower our expectations a bit too, because I think that a lot of fans are expecting it to be on the same level or exceed whatever they did 7-8 years ago. That's an unrealistic expectation because both of them are older now.
Exactly.
They can still go in the ring, obviously, but we'll see. It's going to be a good match. I think it's going to be a great match. Will it live up to the original series of matches? Probably not. Will it be a contender for match of the year? 100%. That's the expectation. If it falls anything under that, then it would be a disappointment. But I really think that they're going to tear the fucking roof off that place.
Okay. Listen, man. Yo, you're going to be on assignment. You're going to be in attendance.
Oh.
You got to go instant reaction after the match. You got to do that. Instant reaction after the match. Okada, Omega 5, All In, July 12th. Ministry report. We'll see what happens. But I got to take y'all into some showing some love. And this week, I'm showing some love to none other than, let me give it to you, Naomi.
Yes.
Naomi. Give it up to Naomi. Y'all, listen. My girl. Listen, I love me some Naomi. I think Naomi is a worker. I think this is well deserved. I love the new thing she's got going on. the playoff of Owens, whole caution thing or whatever. I love it. The new attitude, the promos are hitting. Money in the Bank, I am very curious how they book her to get from when she won to if she gets the title at some point.
Yeah.
I'm going to be cautiously optimistic about this.
You're going to proceed with caution?
Yeah, I'm going to proceed with caution. But I think, I loved it. It was a great moment. She's killing it right now. Honestly, that women's Money in the Bank could have gone to any of them. And it would have made sense in terms of a story that they're currently or possibly could get in. It could have gone to any of them. But Naomi has been killing it this year. And who knows where this could go with a Jade and then a Bianca if one of them gets a title shot or a match, or whoever's holding the title by the time SummerSlam comes up. Does she cash in on Tiffy? Does she cash in on Io? And then Evolution coming up. Who knows how they can how they could build a program after this. But Luis, I had to show some love to Naomi. And Naomi,
well, K-Easy,
she's still doing the thing, man. Still doing the thing.
I got to tell you, this is a stark contrast from the last episode because you actually are bringing a smile to my face and not a frown. So I'm in total agreement with you on this winner right here. As a matter of fact, going into the PLE, I thought to myself, it wouldn't have made sense to have anybody else win it. Honestly, Rhea doesn't need it. Stephanie Vicaire too soon. Julia too soon. Who else was in the match? Anyway, Naomi was the right pick because she's been doing some great work and she needed the win.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier for her. Naomi's someone who's been busting her ass. Is she one of my favorites? Not necessarily,
right.
But I commend her work ethic. She comes across as very likable, even as a heel. She's just very hard to root against, if that makes sense. So,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So when she eventually cashes in that Money in the Bank briefcase, the arena is going to go ape shit.
100%.
They always pop loud for all of the Money in the Bank cash-ins, but I think this is going to be a very, very loud one.
Do you think, Luis? I'm a little concerned in terms of the booking.
You don't think she'll win the title?
If I'm looking at the landscape of women, my friend, you know what's gonna tell me what happens at Evolution. I think that PLE is going to set up a lot of the women's stories for SummerSlam. And however Naomi is booked in that, because she's the Money in the Bank holder, however she's booked in that from now to Evolution in July, that's going to tell us a lot of what possibly may happen at SummerSlam, what direction they may go in. If there's any shenanigans of her losing it in a match, like anything crazy, I don't want to see any of that. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE did anything like that. I just wouldn't be surprised. But I'm staying, again, cautiously optimistic. I think if she happens to cash in, Naomi needs to win it. Period. She can't lose.
Yeah, I think so too.
She can't lose. She can't lose. Especially if she's one of the only big heels in the women's division. That actually matters. That's actually in decent programs with other people, and she's got to win. So we'll see come Evolution. I'm going to say Evolution is going to be where I'd say, okay, I like where this is going, or they're going to mess this up big time. So cautiously optimistic, bro.
You know where WWE has to proceed with caution? They need to let whoever is holding the Money in the Bank briefcase hold it for longer than they have been doing in recent years. I think they're pulling the trigger a little too quickly in certain cases. And I would like to see someone hold it for the full year. Because if you think about it, when was the last time we even had something like that, where someone has held it for the full year?
Was
It's
it
been a
Tiffany
long
Stratton?
time, huh?
Didn't Tiffany she won it at the last Money in the Bank, and she didn't cash in till, wasn't it Mania? Or did she,
No,
like, wasn't
because
it at
she had
a,
the title defense at Mania.
no, but wasn't it at a, she had the title defense at this past Mania?
Yes, and then I think like a month or two before that was when she had cashed it in on SmackDown.
SmackDown.
Yeah.
The SmackDown so that SmackDown before that Mania, or before, like, the,
No, it was a little before
why
that,
do I
but
feel like
she
she
did
held
hold
it
it a
for a
long
minute?
time, to your
Yeah.
point. She did hold it a long time. But I think they need to do that a little more frequently versus having someone win the ladder match and then cash it in about 2 months later, because the expectation is that either Naomi or Seth will cash in at SummerSlam. I
Right.
think that's too soon. Yes, I get the philosophy that you want to strike while the iron is hot, but build up that anticipation. Just keep building it up, building it up, building it up, because they technically have 12 months. So if
Yep.
Naomi doesn't cash in at SummerSlam or Survivor Series or even next year at WrestleMania, she still has until Money in the Bank.
Now I have but I have a feeling that Seth and or Naomi is cashing in real soon. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
see
Seth is
Seth
going to
holding
cash in
it.
at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
One of those two is going to cash in at SummerSlam because they need a viral moment. So
And we know WWE loves their
yeah,
viral moments, my friend.
yeah,
More than the wrestling.
they need to increase the chatter. SummerSlam is in the tri-state area. It's two
Cardi
nights.
B.
All
Yeah.
right, Cardi B. So they need to have all of the buzz after that weekend, and part of that is Naomi cashes in her Money in the Bank briefcase. So I could see that, but my preference and my request would be to have one or both of the Money in the Bank briefcase holders to hold it for about a year, or at least 9 to 10 months.
Listen. I'm not against it. I just think WWE wants to. I think they move quick, and I feel like they're gonna, like you said, one of them's cashing in relatively soon, within the next 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
But I don't know who that is. It's probably Seth. Seth doesn't need to carry around a briefcase of money. He doesn't need to do that for a year. Like, I just don't, with a faction like that. Like, he doesn't need to do that. I just feel like it looks stupid.
If anybody can make it work, it's him though.
He could
He
make
can
it
make
work.
that work. He can prolong that like a mother. I have a feeling that if anybody could make that work right now, out of the two, Naomi and Seth, it would be Seth. Naomi probably needs to cash it in a little quicker,
Yeah.
but I think Seth, because Seth he's a veteran. You know what I'm saying? Like
But like you
Seth
said,
is a legend. Let's call him what he is. He's a legend.
No, he is. Yeah, yeah. I just don't want to see them hold it that long. Like, I don't know if I want to see them a whole calendar year. Like you said, maybe 6 months. I'll take 6 months. I'll take 9 tops. But that's pushing it. Like, I don't know. And I don't know if WWE is in the business of waiting that long, or extending storylines to get to that cash in. I think they're moving pretty fast for the reasons, like you said, like the viral moments and things like that. There's a lot of story going, especially with the Cena thing, right? He's gone in December, right? So how many people you want to get to Cena before he leaves, and who do you want to get in? Like, do you want Seth to cash in on Cena? Like, there's a lot I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. But we'll see, man. But I had to give that showing some love to Naomi. But in this next one, my haters club.
Oh.
Lewis, I feel like I robbed the gimmick of Joel. Joel's been on a real peaceful journey of loving everybody and making sure everybody, kumbaya, don't want to push any buttons. He hasn't done a haters club in a minute. I kind of took over this.
I
And this
know.
week's haters club And not because I hate the person. No. I don't hate the person. I just don't love the work.
Oh,
I'm giving it to your boy.
I'm shocked.
MVP.
I'm a bit surprised by that, Kayode.
I know you're surprised because I'm surprised too, Lewis. But your boy keeps doing something that is making me question his wrestling IQ. You know, the Hurt Syndicate, I feel, are teetering on they're on very thin ice in terms of still being cool. I think what's happening is the whole MJF thing is all right. That's okay so far. I have no idea what they're doing with this. I don't know where they're going. I hope there's a big payoff or something. We get something out of this. But what I don't enjoy, Lou, is that your boy MVP is going after Cheap Heat. Not the podcast, but he's going after Cheap Heat. He's overstepping while MJF is pulling out promos. He's trying to get the crowd to hate him, but yet they're doing things that the crowd likes and they're getting cheered. But yet he's saying things that's contradictory to them getting cheered. He's trying to get the boos. He's trying to get the people against him. And then he's doing the opposite in terms of actions. I don't know who the Hurt Syndicate is anymore. Are we supposed to boo them? Are we supposed to like them? Where does the Hurt Syndicate stand in their babyface and the heel world? Like, who are they? And I think MVP is one of the biggest culprits. He's the mouthpiece. He's the manager. He's got to steer where this group is going. The group is so cool. They come out cool. The music is dope. They look like $1 million, all this stuff, but they don't give off heel. They give off like, we're cool. Cheer us. Why? You ain't cool if you don't cheer us. And MVP ain't helping it because it almost feels like he's forcing the heelness. He's forcing the people to try to boo him. And it's just not coming off authentic. Instead, they're still getting cheered. There's nothing dastardly about these guys. There's nothing bad or evil about these guys. They're two badasses. They're two huge, big, jacked up guys beating up people. They got tag team belts. I just don't know where they're standing. MVP is not helping it. I just feel like he could be doing a little more to steer where this group or who this group's identity is. And I think, Lou, that they're skating on real thin ice before it becomes a little like, okay, we don't care anymore. Like, what are we doing here? So my haters club, not because I hate MVP, I just don't love the work he's doing. I think it could be a lot more solid. I think it could be a lot more cohesive. I think it could be a lot more, in tune with the direction of the group, but I don't feel like there's a direction, Lou. What do you think of this week's Haters Club, man? Am I wrong? What do you think?
No, you're not wrong. I don't disagree. And at first I was surprised that it was MVP out of all people that you selected for the Haters Club. But every point that you made about the Hurt Syndicate's presentation is what I've been thinking about over the last couple of weeks, because I'm kind of confused as to how I'm supposed to react when I see Lashley and Benjamin and MVP and now MJF on screen. Am I supposed to like this? Because I do, but am I supposed to like this because they're just badass bad guys?
Right.
Or am I supposed to genuinely care about them as baby faces? So I could see what you're saying about MVP trying to generate the cheap heat, trying to get the forced reactions as if they were the good guys. It's interesting. You're right. They could be on a very slippery slope. It just depends on what the payoff is with MJF, because we know that that's temporary. That's
Right.
obviously not going to last. So what is the payoff here? But they got to be mindful with how they're presenting the Hurt Syndicate. I agree with you, Kayode,
Gotta be
because
mindful,
we
man.
don't want it to be such a gray area thing where the fans they get to the point of confusion and they just don't care anymore.
Yep. And they start to rebel. And they're like, yo, man, y'all ain't cool. Y'all ain't hurting people no more. Y'all ain't cool no more. Like, I don't know who y'all are. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And right now, they could be doing, man, I feel like there's a lot of stuff with the addition of MJF they could be doing. I just feel like there's no direction. It's just, I still think they're cool. I just don't know why I like them. Other than like, I don't know if I should like them. So hopefully AEW clears that up. Hopefully AEW sits them down and be like, yo, listen, man, where we going with this? What's your idea? Who are y'all? We got to make it very clear to the audience that y'all are a heel group.
Right.
Y'all got to do some
They're a heel group.
You got to do some heel-ish to some people. And then
Like they literally called the Hurt Syndicate. So you should be going out beating people up. That is your job.
And not pandering to the crowd. And,
Right.
Lashley's doing all this to the crowd. And he's, he's doing stuff that's garnering cheers. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that. And I know it feels good to hear it and all that stuff. But if y'all are supposed to be heels, bad guys or whatever, they ain't doing a good job at creating that. So gotta watch out, Hurt.
I agree.
Gotta watch out, because I'll put y'all on the Haters Club 2 weeks in a row if I got to. And I haven't done that yet. It hasn't been a double winner.
The repeat offenders.
The repeat offender. I will definitely put you on the list again. But that's my Haters Club of the week. The inductee is makes me sad to even say it. MJF.
Or MVP.
I'm sorry, MVP. The M's are confusing me. Sorry, MVP. Could be MJF next.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. That's true.
But yo, listen, man, we had a hell of a week in pro wrestling. Your boy R-Truth, Lewis. We talked a lot about him last week.
We did.
Your boy was released, and everybody went bananas. People lost their damn minds. Bring Truth back. Truth this, Truth that. To tell you the truth, I didn't really love anything Truth was doing. I thought Truth was a clown. I never thought I thought Truth was whack for a while. I hated everything he was doing, from the little Jimmy stuff. It was cute and funny for a moment, but there was no. If I'm WWE, if I'm Nick Khan, there's no value. What am I keeping you here for? Like, I can't do anything with you but make comedy skits, and that's only going to last so long. What else do you bring? And apparently, he's that glue in the locker room. He brings people. He's that guy. He's that veteran leader, and I could see why you would keep him for that. But this past Monday, he pulled probably the greatest promo in probably his career. Your boy came out, proclaimed he is Ron Killings, and proceeded to cut his hair off on national TV. Shocking moment, viral moment, of course.
Of course.
But now here's the thing, Lewis, and here's the question for you. Do we care about Ron Killings, or do we want more funny, corny, cheesy R-Truth? That's the thing. Like, will the crowd get behind this new serious Ron Killings, or will they turn on him because it ain't the happy-go-lucky, confused, jolly, dumb R-Truth? What happens? Where we go from here? Wrestling fans, we fickle, bro.
Yeah.
Where are they going with this? Is this going to work? That's the question.
A part of me almost feels like Triple H brought him back to slap the shit out of the fans in the face and say, you take ownership of this when this blows up in your faces and it just doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Because Triple H is getting a lot of heat for his comments during the media scrum after Money in the Bank, where he's like, "Oh, it's a part of the show."
Oh, dude, what happened,
like,
bro?
Really, right? Like, I get that you're trying to do damage control, but really, don't insult everyone's intelligence. We all know. I mean, we weren't there when we weren't there behind closed doors in those closed door conversations, right? But we know that his contract was up for non-renewal. Like, he was released. This wasn't a thing where, hey, let's create a storyline where R-Truth is released and we just have the fans speculate and bring it back for Money in the Bank. I truly think that it was a 25th hour renegotiation. They probably literally decided either the day before or the day of, like, we'll restructure your contract because clearly you're very endeared with the fans.
Yeah.
The boys and gals in the locker room love you, so you're a true asset, and our apologies for not valuing you and seeing you in that light. But here it is. So I loved that promo and that segment on Monday. It reminded me a lot of when in 2011 where they had R-Truth be serious for like a couple of weeks when he was challenging John Cena for the title and he had like smoking the cigarette and shit like that. And that was big because it was PG.
Right.
But then, he went back to like the not so serious stuff, but that's what it reminded me of. And I've been seeing a lot of comparison clips to some of his earlier work when TNA first launched, when he was Ron the Truth Killer.
Yeah, Ron the Truth Killer.
And he was great. I remember when I first was watching TNA, I was like, damn, it's too bad that he didn't get to do any of this in WWE. And I get it because when he was in WWE, he was Kate Quick with Road Dogg, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And hello, look who was on the roster: Stone Cold, Rock, Undertaker, Triple H, Kurt Angle, etc. So there was no room for him to be a main eventer. There was no room. So it made sense that he was one of the top acts in TNA. But that was a great run. If they can harness that, I think we're in for some entertaining stuff. They just got to stay away from the little Jimmy, the talking to ghosts and invisible friends and just being a goofball. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gotta. We've already had that for a decade and a half. Like, we don't need it anymore. And besides, the clock is ticking. He's in his early 50s, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Let him just be himself and be great for the next 6 months to a year.
Listen, man, I agree. If they can harness that Ron Killings from back in the day, it'll be interesting. I'm just curious if the fan today, the WWE fan today, will accept that. Because the truth that this generation of WWE fans have grown to love has been the ghost talking little Jimmy. I'm Ron Cena. All this stuff. They've grown to know that truth. The fans like you and I and Joel, we knew truth back in the day.
Yeah,
we knew that truth. I just wonder if this fan today will understand this Ron Killings joint and be behind it and not want the other truth, not want the other R-Truth, the funny one. I'm just curious on how it's going to go. I'm very curious on the booking of this. And apparently, Metro Boomin, the producer, put out a tweet or an X, whatever you call them, whatever the hell you call these things now. A message, put out the message.
Yeah, seriously, what do they call it?
What do you call it?
Just post, I guess.
A post?
Yeah.
And sent it to Triple H. And was like, yo, let me do his theme song. And
I saw that.
I'm like, that's a no-brainer, H. Yeah. That's a no-brainer. Especially for what we think you're going for with Truth. Let homeboy do it. because honestly, if Metro Boomin kills this, you need to fire whoever's making all the other themes and hire Metro Boomin because the themes are trash, and that's a whole nother show. The themes today are trash. I don't know
They
who's
are.
who. Unless they're a big star, I know your theme. But if you're not, it's a good chance. I got to see the video wall. I don't know who you are. The themes are trash. We got work on that. H. We got to work on those themes.
Yeah.
But what WWE seems like they're working on is they're going to run it back. They're going to run it back, Lewis, to none other than good old Las Vegas, my brother. WrestleMania will be taking place in Vegas for the second year in a row, April 18th and April 19th, 2026. I mean, Lewis, honestly, I don't care. like it's one of those things where it's like, it is what it is. I mean,
At least it's not on Easter weekend.
Exactly. You made a ton
At the very least.
You made a ton of money. You want to run Vegas back. You want to hit that market again. I guess. And it's not like listen, I heard mixed reviews about Vegas as a whole for Mania. I heard there wasn't a ton to do, or the travel issues in terms of getting from the arena to hotel, all that stuff. All that stuff.
Right?
I
saw that footage. Ugh.
Yeah, that. God, Lewis,
that would just turn me off,
bro,
completely.
I don't know what I would have done. I would have lost it. I guess we start walking. I guess we start walking in the direction that nobody's going in, and hopefully we can wave down a car or something. But what's your thoughts, man? They rescinded the whole New Orleans thing. Apparently, Vegas probably said, "Hey, man, let's do it again. We want you back." Do you care, Lewis? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, WrestleMania is always going to be WrestleMania. I don't care to make any type of effort or plans to buy tickets to travel to WrestleMania, if that's what you're really asking me. I mean, sure, if I had the money, I would take a trip out there, whatever. But I think it's just odd. I'm just turned off by what's transpired with the whole WrestleMania thing over the last couple of months, because you make a big deal about announcing New Orleans, and New Orleans was already like a question mark, because it's like, wow, is this the third time in a decade that they're hosting WrestleMania? Good for them, but it's like, man, give another city like Houston a shot here to host Mania. But in any case, you make a big deal about that. The Rock announces it on for crying out loud.
Yeah, man.
And then Rock is not involved at all in this year's WrestleMania Vegas. Then we get the news that New Orleans is no longer going to be hosting, just for it to go back to Vegas for a second year in a row. Yeah. I'm like, was Vegas that earth shattering in terms of how much money they made? Right. Like, were we on that level that you got to run it back for a consecutive year?
Yeah.
I do like the logo. Some people are complaining about the logo, but I do like the black and white.
I like it.
I mean, it's the Raiders, and it's something different because we always get the colorful schemes. I like the black and white. It's simple. It makes it a little edgier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm looking at your NWO hat, and I'm like, that's what it reminds me of. And sometimes you need that, because we always get like the pizzazz and the bright lights and the neon shit. But sometimes you can do once in a while, every now and then, you can do a simple black, gray. I don't mind it.
I listen. I'm not mad at it at all. I don't. Again, Lewis, I never been to Vegas. If I was going to go to Vegas and there's a Mania out there, obviously, I make the best of it. I don't see what the big deal is. I can understand people like, oh, why are you doing it again? But this is going to happen, As long, if WWE breaks records and gates in a specific spot, they're going to run it back because they're going to make the dollar again. And that's just what it is. Yo. And here's the thing. We're going to go. not you and I literally, but people are gonna go.
Yeah,
They're
the
gonna
people will go.
complain and whine right
Yeah.
now, but there's people already using all their check money on the hotel. They're buying packages they can't afford. They're gonna go out there and spend all their money because that's what we do as wrestling fans. We just go
Yeah,
out there,
that's
just
what
be
we
like,
do.
listen, YOLO, whatever. And we just go out there and they're going to go out there and they're going to have a good time. It's going to be whatever. I'm just very curious to see what the build is this year because a lot that WrestleMania Vegas, this past Vegas Mania was polarizing. Some
It
people were like,
was. It was.
it's all right. Some people were like, it's cool. I don't know anybody personally who thought it was like great or whatever. It definitely wasn't great.
Right.
Definitely
I
wasn't
haven't
great.
spoken to anyone that said that this year's WrestleMania was phenomenal, whether you
Exactly.
watched it from home or they actually attended in person. Now, if you attended in person, of course you had a great time. I mean, it's Las Vegas.
Mhm.
But I think Vegas is a good city to host something like this. Maybe not so much in terms of logistics from walking from Allegiant Stadium to your hotel. That's
Right.
a whole different story. But because you're on the boardwalk, or the strip. But it's Vegas, there's nothing but partying
Yeah.
going on. Like it depends on what you are entertained by and what you value, right?
Mhm.
So let's take Los Angeles for instance. LA is LA. So
Right.
there's a lot to do. It's a massive city. So that's a win right there. I think that's a perfect destination for a wrestling event at the magnitude of WrestleMania, which is why
Mhm.
we had such a blast. New York City is another one. There's always things to do. Um, but when you start venturing into the more uh, gambling and partying and club hubs like Miami, Las Vegas, that can get a little tricky because again, it just depends on your preference of atmosphere. Not everybody's into the casino shit.
True.
There's other things to do in Vegas, but we all know that that's the main draw. When you go to Vegas, you're surrounded by casinos. It's just what it is. Miami, same thing. You're surrounded by beaches, clubs.
Yeah.
Like it's
It's a
what it
whole
is.
party out. Yeah.
Right. It depends on what your preference of atmosphere is. You come to Dallas or Houston for WrestleMania. There's this. It's a variety of things, but in Texas, it's really about the food and the beer and
Right.
shit like that. So your mileage may vary when it comes to Vegas.
And remember, WWE's audience, there's a lot of kids, families.
Yeah.
Families going. Your father and mother of 3 kids who like wrestling. You're gonna take them to Vegas. What the hell are we gonna do in Vegas? Where's the nearest Nickelodeon area, or Legoland, or
Right.
where
Right.
am I? What am I doing with these kids? Like
Yeah.
in Vegas? You know what I'm
Vegas is
saying?
perfect for the older fans like you and I.
Right.
For children, I don't know. I don't know. I've been to
Yeah.
Vegas once, and I can tell you that it's a blast if you're into that kind of shit.
Right.
Like if you're into that scene, the drinking, the gambling, and all of that. I'm not saying that that's all there is to do, but it's in your face everywhere,
Everywhere.
everywhere
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
And it's my cup of tea. I'm not into gambling per se, but I'll hit a slot machine or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Listen,
like
man.
drinking, like it's just
Well, I throw a couple
that's
quarters in the slot machine.
right. I won't do blackjack or any of that shit, but I'll do all the other stuff.
Listen, man. Well, listen. WWE is going to figure it out. We're the sheep. We're just going to follow wherever they go.
Pretty much.
WWE makes its triumphant return next year, 2026, in Vegas.
That's why I got my
For
Vegas
Yeah,
attire on.
for WrestleMania. We'll see how it goes. But they are running it back. And I gotta give it to WWE on this one, y'all. Some brave booking happened on Monday Night Raw.
Very brave.
Very brave. Clean finish. Major title changed hands. Your boy Jey Uso loses to the ring Gunther. He got choked out. and I loved every second of it.
Kayode,
I'm
I'm sorry to cut you off. I gotta ask you.
Let's give it.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I gotta ask you. Did at any point in your mind did it cross your mind that Jey Uso would lose the title?
Yes.
Like we gotta have this conversation because I was
You
not
mean last night or period?
on Raw.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
It did not. I swear to God, I thought he
Really?
was gonna retain. 100%. I thought he was gonna retain.
I thought the way this match was set up and the way it was going, the it's hard to explain as a wrestling fan who's been watching wrestling for years. You begin to pick up on booking patterns of your favorite shows, or the minds behind the booking. You start to kind of see where it's going to go. A lot of things are just they're timeless ways to book a wrestling show, and there's no way they were going to have Gunther lose again to Jey Uso on national TV. There was no way. You are then killing the credibility of one of the biggest heel champs that you could drop in any era, by the way. Like Gunther, you could drop in the 80s, you could drop him in the 90s, you could drop him in the early 2000s, and he is killing it. Heel, bad guy, getting all the responses you want from a heel. I just couldn't see them doing that again to him. So either Gunther was going to win, or it was going to be some shiesty finish where someone interrupts or someone jumps Jay or whatever. Right?
And that's what I was thinking. I thought it was gonna not necessarily end on a DQ, but something like an ensuing brawl and a double count out or some shit like that. But I didn't think he would outright lose the title.
But WWE's been doing they've been known lately for like the non finishes, man. Like they can't keep putting on shows and pay-per-view or TV shows and main events where it ain't clean. You gotta give me something. And I had a feeling, bro. I had a feeling Jay was gonna lose it. I didn't think Jay was a long-term champ. There's already rumors saying that Jay soon will go back with his brother to go after the tag team championships from New Day. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is something Jay was like, yo, I want this singles run, and after this certain amount of time, I'll go back with my brother, or if it's the company saying it. I just found it very interesting that he lost, but I knew he was going to. I just found it very interesting, but I'm not mad Gunther won. And I think this sets up Gunther to be sort of a more entertaining champ in terms of his title run. Jay was just a transition. He was cool, and again, WWE is in the business of viral moments. They had Jey Uso win that title at WrestleMania to get the entire stadium to do the yeet and to have that drone fly around and get the cool shots for that moment. WWE is about moments, not necessarily what makes sense in terms of who you're pushing, title holders, all that stuff. Not so much. They're about the moments. Is this moment viral? Is this moment big? And I think with Jay, they just wanted that moment. Yes, Jay deserved it. Jay worked hard that entire year leading up to that match, but no one in their right mind, unless you're a J Mark, there's no one in their right mind, Lewis, who knows pro wrestling that could sit up there and say that they thought Jay was going to go on like a legendary run. There's no way. No way. No way.
Absolutely not.
No way, bro.
No.
So yeah, I give it up for WWE for putting that strap back on Gunther. And we'll see what happens to Jay. Jay's still selling merch. The kids still love him. People still love him.
Yeah.
I just don't know what you do with Jay right now. Like, what do you? how do you get Jay back into that picture? Does he go back in that picture? Does he go now? Does he slot back into tag team? I don't know.
Nah, Jay is already. I think he's already proven himself. Look, I understand that he only has the 5 moves of doom, a la John Cena. and he's not the greatest promo cutter, but he's got the energy. His passion
The passion
is very evident. The fans love his entrance. He's got a unique entrance, and he does the thing with the kids. He sells the merch. He's got a cool catchphrase for kids. He's just got a cool look. I think it would be a dastardly move, a a mistake, be a mistake of all mistakes if he were to reunite with Jimmy and go after the tag titles. No,
Yeah.
no. This man won the Royal Rumble, last eliminated John Cena to win it, beat Gunther at WrestleMania. Sure, his reign only lasted 50 days, 51 days, but that's okay. You know, you don't. And I said this a couple of times. Babyface long-term reigns as champs don't work anymore.
You're right.
So I would prefer for a hot babyface to get their moment, hold the title for like 3 months, 4 months tops, drop it, get into some grudge matches and little feuds here and there, and then within 6 months, 7 months, you get the championship back.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a reason why John Cena is a 17-time world champion, because not every single reign lasted a year or whatever. So I don't think there's much concern for Jey. I'll be honest with you. They're gonna put him in some programs and he'll be right back in it. Jey is one of the top stars in the company. Like, I don't. It's
does
fine.
he need to be in the World Heavyweight Championship picture?
I mean, that's debatable. That's all subjective, right? Because when John Cena was in his prime, a lot of people, he had his critics. People were like, he's not WWE Championship material, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Only time will tell. But I was surprised and shocked at the move, but I like it because I like Gunther.
Yeah. I like it.
So,
listen, man, we'll see what happens with your boy Jey, where he ends up. Honestly, I don't know what they're going to do with Jey. I can't see, unless they run it back with Gunther at SummerSlam, or somehow gets back in there by SummerSlam. But honestly, I think there's a lot more going on between Seth, between Punk and Cena. I see that brewing somehow. I don't know. And even maybe Sami Zayn, I don't know how he somehow fits in. The winner from the King of the Ring tournament gets the title shot somewhere. I think, at SummerSlam. So Cody, right? There's so many other guys. I don't know how Jey gets back there. And that's why I think people are coming to dirt sheets of saying certain things about going after tag team time. It would be a demotion. It would be a major step back. If I was Jey, I wouldn't want that, because I'm like, I've been there, done this. Like, I'm not doing
many times.
Yeah, I'm not tag teaming anymore. Like, I'm a singles wrestler. I'll just do whatever and I'll make my way back. But time will tell. Time will tell. Luis, anything else? Did we miss anything else, man?
Nah, man, just a huge thank you to all the followers and our supporters on social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Give it up for you guys.
Yeah, and continue supporting by streaming the audio on Spotify and Amazon and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah. Look out for us, y'all. Keep it locked in. This is episode 95. Lou, 5 more to 100. We gotta think of something for the 100th episode, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
100 episodes.
Maybe I'll do a no show.
That is why.
I just won't show up. What a way to do a 100th episode.
What a way to do. You just no show. You just
right.
Listen, man. Thank you for joining us. Episode 95 of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. I'm your boy Kayode, the producer, joined by Luis, the administrator. Like I said, Joel is on assignment. He'll be back But keep it locked in and keep following us, y'all. Until next time, peace.
You have just listened to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, a Scriptly adapted production. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at On the Mark Wrestling. And email us on onthemarkpodcast@gmail.com.